Is this too close? Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Mike here again, and today I'm going to do another author spotlight video. I haven't done one for a little while. By now you probably have recognised a bit of a fascination with the author Robin Jarvis in some previous videos. I'll link them all down below. I do love a bit of Robin Jarvis. He was the first author that I read when I was quite little that I guess inspired me, and I want to talk about his latest series of books here today. So I'm just going to pick them up from the floor elegantly. I'm going to slide across and down. Mr. Jarvis has written a series that he has released over the last couple of years called The Witching Legacy, book 1 being called The Power of Dark. And I have got this glorious hardback edition which is signed. This is really exciting. I like Mr. Jarvis, Mr. Dark. Oh, got a little bit confused there. So I'm a big Robin Jarvis fan, and these books are actually really entertaining. So I wanted to let you guys see them. They are published by Egmont. I actually don't know how to say that. Is it Edgemont? I'm going to have a little squint through. It says Egmont. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're just going to go with it. So this is The Power of Dark. This is book 1 in the Witching Legacy series. And it's got a glorious cover of this skeleton flying through the air and the two kids on either cliff. So I'm going to read the back to you. There can be no peace. The Nemeous curse will be roused. The cliffs will crumble and fall into the waves. The sea shall devour. Your time is over. Oh, that's a bit epic, isn't it? Something is brewing in the coastal town of Whitby. To best friends Lil and Vern, it just seems like a particularly bad storm. But Cherry Cerise, the last of the town's guardian witches, fears that ancient forces are at work, reviving the curse of a long-lost magical artifact and a feud that has survived even beyond death. The first in a new magical adventure series from fantasy legend Robin Jarvis. It has a beautiful, some beautiful artwork on the inside as well, which I really like. And there's a little signature. And you have to love a book that starts with a map. This is a map of Whitby, which is really exciting. Now, those of you who are actually fans of Mr. Jarvis will know that he has visited Whitby before. So I will talk a bit more about that later, but this book is quite exciting. It's the only one of the series that comes out in hardback, the rest are in paperback, which is a little bit of a shame because of the OCD in me that likes a nice shelf aesthetic, but there we are, it's fine, it's still a really good book. And in this book, you meet Lil and you meet Vern, and they are from opposite sides of the town of Whitby. There's two cliffs, and Lil is, well, her parents are goths, and they own like an occult shop, and they sort of go around blessing people and things. It's all a bit whimsical. And Vern's parents own an arcade the other side of town, and so there's this really strange mixture in this book of like witchcraft and steampunk, and they kind of come together in a big battle. It gets really epic really quickly, and it's a really good yarn. Oh, do you see what I did there? Yarn. Those of you in the know will know. But yeah, this is a really cute little book, really quick read as well, and it's a really nice welcome back to Whitby, which is a bit of a fascinating town, and Mr. Jarvis is clearly fascinated with it. I keep calling him Mr. Jarvis. I don't know if they call him Robin Jarvis? I don't know. I talked to him on Twitter. He's on Twitter, I'll link below. So that's the first book, and I really enjoyed this. But the second book, which is called The Devil's Paintbox, I adored this one. This one look at the gorgeous cover, first of all. That is stunning. I love these pictures. I've gone red this time, red and yellow. Red for danger. On the back of this book, it says, "I think I've done something really stupid," Vern said. He pulled open his rucksack. "The Nemeous, you got it working again?" exclaimed Lil. "Brilliant." Vern shook his head. "No, it's not brilliant, actually, not at all." Oh, I love these two. Lil and Vern may think they have quelled Darkworld, the dark forces that try to destroy Whitby, but they have no idea that the powers they've been meddling with are about to turn on them. When a mysterious paintbox arrives from the past, Lil is keen to discover its secrets, little knowing that every time she uses it, something nasty escapes. And so I read the back of that book, obviously going to buy Robin Jarvis's books anyway and read them anyway, and I thought, okay, this is cool, we're just going to carry on. It's quite an entertaining little series. Cherry Cerise, who is the resident witch of Whitby, is a fantastic character, and in the first book she just shines. In this book, I was reading this book, and the overriding feeling that I had is just the pace of this book is so fast, so fast. You start off and suddenly we're at the end of the world, and it is mental and barking, and the paint box in question, all different colours, comes with a different sort of curse, and once they start using them, they have to be used. It's fascinating, and it just unleashes plagues on Whitby as if it didn't have enough to do with in the first book. But the second book is my favourite one of the series so far. I really like it, and it's just so fast-paced, so sort of frightening. And I think towards the end of the book I just thought, how on earth are they going to get out of this? And I realised that, gosh, this series is something to think about. So fun, but whoa, pace and end of the world mentalness. Which leads us nicely onto book 3, which is called Time of Blood. I'm going to try and show you this. We've gone purple. There's a big octopus type thing going on on the cover. Brill. So this one on the back says, "What's your name?" asked the woman. "I'm Lil, I think. Yeah, Lil Wilson. What are you doing here?" "I've no idea," cried Lil. "I know it's very important, I just can't remember what it is." So when Lil wakes up in a Whitby she has only ever imagined, she discovers that the sinister Mr. Dark is more powerful than ever and has enslaved young Vern to his will. Lil is determined to save her best friend before their enemy unleashes his most despicable and insane plan yet, but first she has to find him. So this is part 3, and in this one we are introduced to a bit of time travel, and Lil and Vern go back into Whitby's past, and it's really gothic and dark, and a very different tale, really, in a good way. Each of these books has been almost so different to each other. You think, is it the same series? But it also really works. It's quite eclectic, but in a good way. And again, it's got a map of Whitby at the front, but this time obviously it's a Whitby of the past. And yeah, it's just a. There's also really cute little drawings throughout it. That's what Mr. Jarvis. I'm going to call him Mr. Jarvis. Mr. Jarvis does very well. I love the little drawings. They're really sweet and really cute, and I like that. I like that addition to a book. So these are the 3 that have been released so far, and the next one's going to be called Legacy of Witches, and it just says coming soon, teasingly. I've been waiting for a year already, I think. Come on, I'm so excited. It's fine, write it, get it done nicely, and don't rush, it's absolutely fine. Not for little old me. The reason I was going to bring these up today and talk to you about them, because not only because I do absolutely adore Robin Jarvis and his writing and the stories and his characters, I am actually thoroughly enjoying this series, was that Robin Jarvis has written about Whitby before. You've probably heard of the Whitby Witches, that series from back in the 90s, I think. And these books, this series of books, actually is a continuation of the Whitby Witches in a really clever modern way. It's sort of not like a sequel as such, but it also kind of is. There are lots of links back to the original Whitby Witches book, and lots of nods, and there's characters that come back from the original trilogy, which is really exciting. But this is very clever, because like I said, the first 2 books take place currently in Whitby, and then the third one is time travel, and we do go back to before the original books, which is quite exciting. And then at the end of the book there's a bit of a cliffhanger, and there's a bit of a big cliffhanger actually, and I'm really intrigued to see how it's going to tie all the books together. There will be 7 Whitby Witches books, which is just fab. So really exciting. So if you haven't read them, guys, they're a really nice read. They're kind of middle grade books. I wouldn't really call them young adult. They are a little bit younger, 9 to 12, but it's quite cool because there's some really gross, gruesome things in it, you know, skeletons and graves coming to life, and disgusting things which I think little boys would love and little girls would love. And but a really good story of friendship as well. So if you need some new books for your kids, I highly recommend these. The other reason I wanted to talk to you about these books very briefly is after the release of those three, Egmont released this beautiful new modern classic version of the original Whitby Witches story. I mean, look at this drawing and the colours. It's stunning. It's so nice. I'll read the back for you just so you can get a feel. The most dreadful monster ever created came ashore at Whitby. ... When orphans Ben and Jeanette arrive, Jeanette maybe, arrive in their new seaside home, they soon discover that it is a very extraordinary place. And with mysterious creatures on the shore and a deadly beast prowling the streets, it becomes clear that Aunt Alice and her friends are also not quite what they seem. It's a beautiful book. I mean, it's stunning, and the inside has got some lovely waves. Really, a really glorious version. But unfortunately, there's been no news as of yet from the publishers whether they're going to be releasing books 2 and 3 in the series. I did tweet at them and at Robin Jarvis about asking, because I was just intrigued. I've read this a year ago and I wanted to read the next two, because I actually haven't read the next two. I don't have them. I never read them as a child. I don't know, I must have missed it. But especially because this ties in with the other three, I wanted to read them. I wanted to read them to know, especially if I need to know anything from the original three, because he's a clever writer, he does like that kind of thing. But there's no plans, I don't think, to release books 2 and 3. I really need to sneeze. I'm so sorry. I just can't. It's the weather. It's just all. I don't suffer with hay fever, but even I'm feeling a little bit. So there's no plans as of yet by the publishers to release books 2 and 3, and I think that's a real shame. Not only because look how stunning this book is, and it would be such a glorious thing on the shelf to have all three with the same kind of artwork and font and everything. It's just beautiful, and it brings the book back to people now, but I also think that it would be really nice to have, because to know the story that you might need to know some bits from. I don't know. I feel like Robin's going to be really cleverly tying up stuff from the other book and hinting at other things, and I'd like to know it. So in the meantime, I have sourced a couple from eBay. So I am going to be getting some of the version that was released in 2000, because I strangely already have this from 2000 but don't have the other two. I never got around to reading them. So this is me asking the publishers, Egmont, please consider releasing books 2 and 3 in this format, because it is so glorious. You've done such a good job, and I just really think it's such a shame if they don't get released, because it brings it to a whole new audience as well, and then everybody gets 7 Whitby Witches books to read. How is that a bad thing? That's a really good thing. So these are the 4 books, guys, in question: Whitby Witches and The Witching Legacy, and it really is a legacy now. So many witches, but bewitching books. Can't speak today. Try and speak too quickly. But yeah, so that's I recommend these, and I really would love books 2 and 3 to be released in this version. That would be stunning. Anyway, I've rambled on now, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon for another bookish video on my channel. Bye.